What's up, y'all? It's Sebastian Evans, and I'm back with another video from my 3-week hiatus. And a lot has happened since my last video. And usually, what I do is I have boundless energy and I tell y'all stories about my life, and I use super general examples. And, it's motivation, it's beautiful, it's nice, it's supposed to make you feel good. Well, today I'm here to tell you life cannot always be that pretty. And that's something that I've always known, but I didn't know as well as in this month and frankly the last 2 months. Um, there's been a reason why I haven't made a video in the last 3 weeks, and it's deeply personal, and it has to do with family, it has to do with love, it has to do with track and field, and all three of those things are deeply interconnected, and it has something to do with the way I've been living my life. I can't get up here and expect to speak to people and inspire people if no one knows anything about my life, one, and two, if I don't dig deep and give y'all everything I have. Because no matter what I'm doing, whether that's a relationship or schoolwork or track or friendships, I'm gonna give it all I got. So with 303 Productions, you're gonna get the very best of me, and you're gonna get everything I have because I love this. And everything I love, I give everything I have. So you know what? Let's start with love. Um, January 1st, I lost a really serious relationship. We were together for a year and a half, and like I said, with everything I do, I gave her everything I had. And she was a wonderful person. Still is a wonderful person. She's a beautiful person. One of the best people I've ever met, and gave me, frankly, some of the best memories of my life. And during that time, it was winter break. So I had a couple weeks to process what happened, but the indoor track season was starting, so I went right into it. I got back on campus. I threw myself in everything I had to do. I threw myself into my schoolwork. I threw myself in my track and field. I threw myself into my social life. I just tried to push it to the side and act like it didn't exist. I woke up every morning. Today's gonna be a great day. I'm okay. I'd tell myself I'm okay. And in some respects, I was, and I am. And loss promotes growth. Nature abhors a vacuum. Nature hates emptiness. Something's always going to grow when something gets ripped up. So I've grown into a stronger and better man. But in the process of growing, there's pain. And I've dealt with a decent amount of pain from that loss of relationship. But I didn't really have time to reflect. I didn't really have time to water the grass where things got ripped up. I was just going. I just left a patch there. So a few weeks later, I'm training for the A10 championships, and I'm going to practice 5 times a week, and I'm going to weight room 3 times a week, and I have study hall in class. And one day, on February 11th, I was walking back from a study hall after one particular day, and my brother called me, and he said, "You gotta come home." He didn't say, "Hey," he said, "You gotta come home." I was like, "Yo, what's up? What's wrong?" Like, I had my AirPods in, and I thought I was hearing something wrong, so I took them out and put them in my pocket, and I used my phone. I was like, "Yo, what's up? What's wrong?" He was like, "Granddad died." And that was a really hard moment for me, and I just froze where I was. I was walking down the street, Broad Street, near Siegel Center. I froze where I was, and I was like, I'm coming. Like, I'm coming home. And the first thing I thought of was my dad, because my granddad was my dad's best friend. It was his everything. My granddad breathed life into his son, and his son breathed life back into him. And my dad is my everything as well. So I wanted to get home to make sure I was okay. And, I called my best friend Ian, and I was like, "Yo, my granddad just died." He didn't ask me any questions. He said, "Where are you?" Most beautiful thing ever said, "Where are you?" Another patch, a huge piece of land got ripped out off the real estate of my life. My granddad died, but someone was there to help me water the flower and help me go through it, right? And I needed that in that moment, because later on, I wouldn't take the time to reflect. And he helped me. So we met at my dorm room 303. He gave me everything I needed. He said, "All right, cool, we're going home." So I went home, spent some time with my family. It was with my dad and mom. It was great to see them. And then I buried my granddad, and I was on my way back training for another 18th championship. All those things happened to me, and I just kept moving. I felt it, but I didn't take the time to reflect. These pieces of grass that got ripped up on the lawn of my life, I pretended it was okay and I didn't water them. I didn't tend to them. I didn't take the time for new growth. I just kept moving. So what I was doing at the 8th End Championships was a heptathlon. That's 7 events in 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. So you have the 60 open, the long jump, the shot put, the high jump, the 60 hurdles, pole vault, and the 1,000. 7 events in 2 days. So I get there, and as I start my first event, the 60, and I'm warming up, my coach pulls me to the side. He said, Sebastian, focus on one event at a time. You got the 60. You run a good time or a bad time, it's done. Move on. You do the pole vault. You jump, height, or you jump 12 feet, it's done. You do the 60 hurdles. You break a record, or it's done. It doesn't matter how the outcome is. It's done. You move on to the next event. And as I sat there and heard him explain how you do a heptathlon effectively, I realized that's how I was living my life. I was going through all these events and doing them to the best of my ability, but after they're done and gone, I didn't take the time to reflect, right? I didn't take the time to look at the lawn of my life and see all the holes and potholes and missing flowers and pieces of grass. I didn't take time to tend to them and water them. They were just done. So after the heptathlon's over, I go home on Sunday, I'm exhausted. I sit down and think about my life, and I think about the people I've lost, and my granddad, and my parents, my brothers and sisters, and everyone that matter. And I told myself, for me personally, always going forward is the way I live my life. But what about the people that need me? What about my brother and my mother and my sisters and my brothers and my best friends and, the people I have prior relationships to? And I wouldn't be honoring them if I didn't take lessons from what happened. I keep trying to go, but I'm not looking. I'm not learning. So I will say this, man. You gotta reflect. Imagine your life like a car. You have a big windshield and everything is forward. Everything that matters is right there. And then your past is in the rear view mirror, right? You have a rear view mirror for a reason. So you can look, see any trouble behind you, maneuver, but keep focusing. And I wasn't using my rear view mirror at all. I was just driving. I was just moving, cruising 120 miles per hour down the driveway. And that has to change. That has to stop. We're all gonna go through loss. We're all gonna go through heartbreak. We're all gonna be tired. We're all gonna have events in our life, not just 7 like a heptathlon, but real life. You're gonna lose family. Your parents are gonna get mad at you. You're gonna screw over a best friend. A lover's gonna leave you. People are just gonna look at you like you're crazy. You're gonna get misconstrued. So many different events are gonna happen. But every time something gets ripped out of your life or you make a mistake, you can't just pretend it didn't happen. You have to look at it and water it and grow and learn from it. So that's my challenge for you today. What has got ripped out of your life? Self-inflicted or just life doing its thing? What's happened to you? How could you be better? Don't just look at it. Don't just go straight through, but really take a moment, a deep breath to reflect. Because, hey, man, I'm not perfect. And that's definitely something that I need to do. Thank you.